should be used? Well, the 1 hour and the 30-minute are considered execution time frames. So that's when you're really getting ready for a trade. I use the 4 hour to see major transitions and confirmation. So if I see, let's say, a bullish engulfing happen on a 4 hour, I'll use that as an indication to drop down time frames and start looking for entries. So very different. I would consider the H4, a 4 hour time frame, in the daily more of getting ready to take a trade rather than the 1 hour and the 30-minute execution time frames. Those are time frames where you're actually placing the trades. So you never want to place a trade just based on the 4 hour. That's just unnecessary. All right, so we're gonna get started here. This music's looking good. All right, cool. All right, so here we are. We got DXY, guys. Obviously, you guys all know I like to start on DXY, get an overall, some sort of sentiment for the week. So I've gone ahead and marked here that the monthly is bullish, the weekly is bullish, the daily time frame is bearish, and then the 4 hour is bullish. So this is the daily time frame. We can see clearly that this is bearish, right? We're getting lower lows, lower highs repeatedly, but the 4 hours bullish, and then we know the higher time frames are bullish. So the overall market sentiment is pushing price higher. So in order to confirm that this is going to be a transition,
it's actually good that you're doing it like that, because all that's showing is on the 4 hour. There's a break of structure right now.
Right.
So there's an opportunity right there, depending on what's going on, to take an entry.
Right.
But at the same time, he's looking on the daily for ultimately a break of the lower high.
Absolutely, and that's all that this area represents here. This red zone. This is key resistance as well as the most recent lower high, which we want to see break. In order to see a bullish trend continue, we want to see this transition happen, and we want to see a break and retest. And then on the retest, we're just looking for those engulfings, those star patterns, huge exhaustion, as well as a little fib level that you could use as another confirmation, and the moving averages, which actually are hidden right now. Go ahead and load those up. So then once we see that break and retest, after it's confirmed, we're just going to target back towards this monthly, continuing the bullish trend, and we're going to target around 98.50 area. You started trading the Forex in the past 7 months, always losing money.
We'll just keep going.
Yeah. We're answering some questions at the end. Let me just get through these. Oh, okay. All right, cool. So here we are on AUD USD. So the monthly is bearish, the weekly is bearish, the daily is bullish, and the 4 hour is bearish. So the overall sentiment is very bearish. However, we do have this bullish trend on a daily. So it's been bullish on this daily time frame since October. This is just a higher time frame retest back up to this monthly level, right around 0.700 or 0.7. And now after that rejection, we're forming what looks to be a head and shoulders pattern, right? The left shoulder, there's the head, there's the right shoulder. It came back through the MAs, back into this pattern, lots of rejection, lots of bearish volume, but it's still within this pattern. So for us to catch a big move on this, I want to see a break of this neckline down here, right around 68.50, retest, and then again, we're looking right in this pocket here. So this trend line, this broken support, now resistance, if it comes down to this level and retest, then we're just looking for those confirmations to enter. And then we're going to target lower towards our next minor support, around 0.68, and then potentially even lower down to this low over here at about 0.67. Okay, so we're just waiting for those confirmations on this one. This one's looking really clean. I always love seeing a good head and shoulders. I don't really think anybody, it's very hard to miss this type of pattern. It's very easy to trade. It's pretty straightforward, and we're just gonna wait for those confirmations.
Ultimately too, you're just looking. We're forming that, it's a lower high that's forming. So we're just looking to break that previous, high or low. So we're looking to retest that random line he has drawn, ultimately break and retest to enter.
Absolutely. And rule of thumb is you typically want to target the height of the pattern. We're looking at 168 pips here. So that leaves us it's pretty close, about 10 pips off of our low here at 0.67. So this trade makes a lot of sense. Please try not to annotate. And I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next pair. Can you clear that?
Where is it?
You don't see that on my chart? Big ass arrow. This. Dude, we need Twitch. Hold on 1 second, guys. Let me just clear this. There we go. I got it. All right. So moving on here, we're on to AUD JPY. Will you give online classes? Yeah, we do. We'll tell you all about it at the end. just try to, focus on this analysis for now, prepare for the week, and then we'll answer some questions.
Keep going.
So here's the daily time frame. The monthly, we went ahead and looked ahead. The monthly and weekly are bearish. So the higher time frames are very bearish, but this daily and 4 hour are bullish. So as we can see, we're on the daily here. It's been bullish since late September, early September actually, forming higher highs, higher lows consistently up until this monthly area, which is where we're seeing potentially lower high, a confirmed lower high. We have an engulfing. So I at least think, I'm not going to say this is a pretty strong trend right here. It's a wide channel. I'm not going to say this is going to turn bearish, but I do think it is going to come down and test at least this 74.50 area. So 74.500 right here. I think it's going to come back down, touch the support. And then from there, we'll decide what's going to happen. It could break lower, retest, and then fall out of this channel, continue the overall higher time frame trend, or it could just range in this area for a little bit, bouncing off this support, bouncing off this major resistance and monthly level, until ultimately we see a break happen. But for now, just simply think it's going to fall down, touch the support again, because that's what it's telling us. There's a lot of bearish volume. There's a lower high, potentially major resistance level. Everything to me is saying it's going to come back down. So that's AJ. Let's see how many pips this potentially is. Then we're just looking for more bearish variations. So about 130 pips down. Pretty good, pretty good. We're going to move on to Euro USD here. This one's looking pretty interesting. This is a really big kind of pattern that we got going on here. But we got the monthly and weekly, both bearish. So the overall sentiment for Euro USD is very bearish, but the daily and 4 hour are bullish. So you can see here again, this is the daily time frame. We have higher highs, higher lows, higher highs. Bullish since October. But now we found a little bit of resistance just outside of this major level here, this red zone. So we found resistance up here, close to this trend line. But now it's looking like this is also forming a head and shoulders. So we have a left shoulder, here's a head, here's a right shoulder. Lots of rejection off these MAs. It's 200 EMA, and clearly tons of bearish volume. So ideally, it's looking great right now, but ideally we would like to see a break of this level, retest on this line, this blue line here, and then we would target lower. First target would be our minor support around 1098, and then potentially even lower if we keep seeing lower lows, higher lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows. And you just follow the trend as long as it keeps printing that formation, that structure, all the way down potentially to the monthly around 1070. So this could have a lot of movement in it, but right now we're just playing this range. We're looking to get down to around 1098. So let's see how many pips we got on a break and retest. We're looking to enter on a variation for close to 100 pips, 90 to 100 pips. Good amount of volume coming into the market here. I'm just going to clear this annotation again. This thing is in the way. So yeah, there's a lot of potential in this. Euro USD, if it does, if DXY does continue to push up, this analysis falls right in line with that. The euro should fall in comparison to the dollar as it rises. So I guess we'll see. But all in all, it's looking pretty good for this week. Let's go ahead and move along to EJ. So strong channel here. This is the daily time frame for EJ. The monthly is ranging. So this is what I was telling you guys about, how it's forming lower highs and higher lows. So this is the monthly. So we could see like we got a lower high, we got a higher low, lower high, higher low. It's just kind of squeezing, and it's consolidating on a monthly, but how much weight does that hold right now? We want to get to more recent price action, right? So let's go ahead and drop back down to our daily. So the monthly, the weekly is bearish, the daily is bullish, and the 4 hour is bullish. So right now, we're just going to play it based on the daily. Very bullish trend. Higher highs, higher lows, etc. All the way up until here. This is our higher high. And this has been happening since mid-September. Bullish since mid-September. So right now, we're finding a little bit of resistance around the 86% fib level. We have a big bearish engulfing, but we're still above the MAs. So I would like to see price action come back down and touch this trend line, kind of fill in this channel a little bit more. I don't think it's going to push any higher just yet. I think it's got to take a breather and come back down a little bit. You can see it's kind of been ranging in between the 88.6 and the support level, and it's been bouncing in this area quite a bit. So it's very likely that EJ will drop. This kind of lines up with that Euro USD trade I just showed you guys, how the Euro is kind of looking bearish, in comparison. So Definitely looking to get into this pocket, this lower trend line, this major support level right around 120, 250 area. So highly likely. We'll just look for, like ideally a nice break below these MAs, these 200 MAs, maybe a little retest on a lower time frame would be perfect, and you could just short down to this trend line area. So it's looking pretty good for EJ. I'm gonna hop onto gold for you guys for the last pair I analyzed. Let's see here. Whoops. All right. So as we know, gold, guys, very bullish on every time frame, monthly, weekly, daily, 4 hour, all bullish. Partly because, gold is a safe haven. It's also going to appreciate a lot over time. Let's go ahead and jump into a higher time frame just to show you guys how bullish this really is. So look, this was an inverse head and shoulders on the monthly. It broke out, it filled this range, came up to a monthly resistance level. Very bullish, very, very bullish. So what's going to happen now? What's going to happen on the daily time frame, right? So if we think the dollar's going to go up, that's going to affect the gold in a little bit because it's going to push gold down a little bit. It's not going to be too dramatic because it is a safe haven, so it is going to appreciate. But it's highly likely that we'll see some sort of retest to a PRZ level. I mean, this is a pretty key level right at the 50%, huge support. But it's definitely got some room to breathe. So I'm looking to get in again, maybe at a lower level around 1520, 1525, somewhere in this area. But again, we're just looking for those confirmations. A nice MA cross after a bullish engulfing, after a PRZ level was hit, will give us a nice trade opportunity. So then we're just going to target higher, target back towards this monthly. And if we see a significant closure above, not like this, we don't want to see this exhaustion. We want to see a true close and retest, and then we can target higher, potentially all the way up to this negative 27% fib level, which is about 1620. So a lot of movement in gold to come. Let's say it does come down to this 50% fib level. We enter on a good setup. That's a lot of pips, guys. That's all the way from 1520 to 1620. So just keep an eye on gold. It's very overextended. It's got to breathe. So I'm going to be watching this one this week. It's looking pretty good though. Will you send a signal if I long? Normally, I don't put gold signals out because the risk changes dramatically, and I'm not trying to invoke any emotional distress for you guys. The signals are really mostly meant for just stops pairs only.
The stops are normally, we try to do 30, 40, 50 pip stops.
Right.
And the gold signals would be much larger.
Much larger. I mean, I'll post premium analysis on gold. If I see a potential trade setup, but I don't think we're going to put it out as a signal. I'll bring it to your attention that something's happening, but yeah. So we can do that.
I'm trying to update the analysis for that.
Yeah, absolutely. So those are the pairs that I did for you guys. Just to recap: DXY, AUD USD, AUD JPY, Euro USD, Euro JPY, and gold.
Cool.
They're all in Discord and in the Telegram with all the video breakdowns, but I'm going to pass this off to Angelo, and we'll get started on the next set of pairs.
Yeah, so I'm going to go over a lot more of the major pairs. Those pairs were kind of all over the place, which is good that we're covering all sides of the market here. So we're going to start. We got GJ. Obviously, we're going to go over GJ. I know someone said that in the chat that they wanted that. We're going to start on GU. So GU, we are on the weekly time frame. Right here, we're just below this key level. So we rejected this, 1, 2, and then we found this as support over here. So this is definitely a key level here. And then we're still below this 200-day moving average. So the last week, or 3 weeks actually, we had resistance right here. So we had some buyers exhaustion. Boom, 1, 2, 3. But at the same time, there's not a lot of volume coming to the downside. So we're really, if we bump down to the daily, we're right now retesting. There was a higher high. We have this higher low. We're retesting this higher high right here. And we formed 2 lower highs. So we formed right here, boom, lower high. And then again, we're forming last week, actually closed with this bearish engulfing. So let's go down to the 4 hour, take a look more at structure. The 4 hour, just looking right here, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high. So we're retesting, or we had retested this previous lower high. That's why I had signaled actually this pair last week Market opened, gap down, completely, but we're looking good on this. We're retesting this level. Ultimately, we got to break below this daily higher high, or this just support level that was formed. So that's what I'm looking for. Look how it breaks below here. So right now we're pretty much short on GBP USD. Let's take a look at NZD USD. So let's bump up to the weekly time frame. So weekly time frame, I know some people were messaging me about a trend line that actually was forming like this, and we've kind of broken above, that level. At the same time, I am monitoring this based on just what I'm seeing right now. We're retesting the moving averages, but this is definitely right here a weekly resistance level based on previously how this went down. So pretty much, come onto the line chart, just looking for situations. We got resistance, we got resistance, support. So we're just retesting this significant key level again. But look how price has been forming. We've got, exhaustion here, but then a doji. And then last week, we formed another doji. So let's just bump down to the daily. The daily, we just formed this high. And at this point now, we got moving average cross. Last week closed with a bearish engulfing right here. So we could be dipping back, to form this first lower high. But at the same time, this is a key area right here of consolidation. So just bump down to the 4 hour. The 4 hour, really what I'm looking at is this lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high. And then we retested that lower high. And that was those two bearish engulfings right here on the 4 hour. And then ultimately we're going to see how this market pulls back off of this 200-day moving average right here. So I'm short on this, but I'm looking to see how price reacts to this 200-day moving average. And then this daily, this level of support also. Looking to see how it reacts to these two levels as we kind of maintain some short. So NZD USD looking short again this week. Let's see USD. So USD JPY is looking pretty interesting. Last week we actually were right here, and pretty much the two situations that we gave out were if price respects this, then we're going to look to short. We're going to look to go with the break of this, but if we break above, we're looking for a pullback. So pretty much all the way in the daily up to the weekly, as we see also, we have this trend line, we have the 200-day moving average. So we broke above this 200-day moving average, and we're going to look for some sort of retest before actually longing. So the retest, ideally, was going to be where we look at the most confirmations would be 38.2 trend line. If we get some sort of, or we have support there as well with this weekly key level, so this is really the spot we're looking for setup. So USD JPY, not really going to be doing too much of this early this week. We'll see how it goes down. Potential lower time frame place, but we'll see what's good with that. We got USD CHF. So this is interesting. So USD CHF, we fell below, the support level. We got somebody. I'm looking for 114 on UJ.
Okay.
Cool. Fuck yeah.
That's a big, yeah.
So we got on the weekly for USD CHF, we fell below this level of support, right? Support, even here, wick there. So we fell below this like weekly key level. So down to the daily. But at the same time, let's look at the weekly. We got some exhaustion. We got exhaustion here. So that's showing that we're showing signs of some buyers coming in. So the daily, right here, boom, bearish, below the moving averages, very bearish. But at the same time, we're slowing up at the end here. We're slowing up a little bit. Let's bump down to the 4 hour. 4 hour, we could see some structure here, definitely. Lower low, we got lower high, broke below now. So I'm really just looking to keep going with the trend, not trying to do anything too crazy here. Ultimately, if we break above this level up here, we're going to look to long, break back above resistance. But other than that, if I see setups in this area and in this area, I'm going to look to short and go short on USD CHF. So let's see USD CAD. USD CAD, pretty much we fell below this 200-day moving average. So we're right at this level of support again, or this key level, that's been rejected or respected, here respected, rejected, respected, whatever. So this one area has been, a lot of orders have come in at this one area. So we fell below the moving averages right here. We're a little overextended. Last week we closed with this doji, showing that we're slow enough right at this point. We're slow enough. We could potentially continue on, but down to the daily, this is pretty much what I'm looking at. The daily's at this level where we formed a bearish engulfing last week. So we made some sort of structure. If we just pull on a daily fib here, we've definitely made some sort of structure at this level. If we break above here, I'm going to look for a retest, potentially long, and look to get it coming back at a higher level. Or if we just respect this entirely and break below, we're just going to short this thing down to the 0 level and even beyond that. So that's USD CAD. Let's look at GJ.
GJ.
So what do you send, GJ? GJ 156 target on term. Yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens.
That's a big ass target, man.
So GJ on the weekly, I'm just looking like this. Again, we've been bearish on GJ. We're coming back to retest this lower high. This has been, last year. So we got on the weekly at this resistance and the moving average level, we have 2 bearish engulfings, and then last week closed with some rejection right here. So coming down to the daily, let's take a look. It gets kind of crazy, but let's look at it like this. We got a high, we have a new higher high, we got this, higher low that formed. At the same time, we got a lower high. So we're just consolidating right now, pretty much within this range right here. And last week actually closed with this bearish engulfing. So there's really 2 situations right now. Basically, I'm either looking to continue this 4-hour uptrend right here. This is potential high or low.
Long term.
If we could break above here. And then we've got this long term. We got this on the 4-hour, in order to, like I said, this daily to kind of try to play it into this day, back into this high, and then ultimately see if it really rejects according to like this weekly bearish sentiment. On the 4-hour, I'm looking for a break of this support and then a retest, and then we'll enter that. So right now, just looking to see how price reacts up in this area right here. This is really going to be an important, zone based on how price action forms there. I'm going to make a decision on what to do. So that's GJ. Pretty much went over a lot of pairs. We can go over like one more if you guys want.
Let me just answer a couple of these questions. It's kind of going back here. Let's center this. So let's see what questions. Will you give me online classes for becoming a successful trader, like a pro trader? Yeah, absolutely. That's one of the main services we offer. It's full membership. It's full access to the community. You get.
It's pretty much just online training.
Yeah. I mean, you can reach out to us. We'll tell you more about it. There's obviously a lot more details that we could show you, but message either of us for more information. Hey, the head and shoulders you weren't sure about. Probably on Euro USD. Yeah, sometimes it's kind of tricky to see before it confirms.
He had messaged me about it instead, like head and shoulders, and asked.
Yeah. See, it's tough to see sometimes if it's not confirmed yet, but if it looks like it, just mark it up.
You're definitely right. You're definitely right about it.
Yeah, no doubt. No, you were right. So
you're definitely right about that.
Good spot, Johnny.
Guys on the first breakout or the pullback. Like I said, it depends the situation. It really depends where on the market you're at.
Yeah.
Where you're going to take breakouts, or it also depends the time frame. Like for example, if we're looking at daily, like Nick was showing on his chart, he had the daily bearish, the weekly bearish, and the monthly bearish, and then the 4-hour is an uptrend. Right, and then you see a break of resistance or a break of support. I mean, on that uptrend on a higher low, like you can take that sort of breakout style entry and like use wider stops.
Oh, absolutely.
And stuff like that.
That's when I do it. But typically, a pullback is the more conservative approach, because let's say you're looking to go long and you see the initial break, which is the higher high. It goes to form that higher high, and then the pullback would be the first higher low, which is where you would want to enter on. Stop loss would be tight just outside of that higher low. And then it would present a highly probable trade opportunity. So
I think on entries though, I've been doing a lot of like breakout style, like when when you're like breaking in the direction of where you're trying to go, like momentum, right? So it really just depends which time frame. Higher time frames, wait to enter at higher lows, wait for those setups. Lower time frames, like judge on the level that it's breaking and what you can actually do for that situation.
Right. Yeah, exactly. It's very situational. But it also goes hand in hand with time frame correlation and being aware of, all the trends that are going on a particular pair.
How to read the ATR for gold USD.
How to read the ATR.
So pay more attention to patterns definitely pay attention to patterns. Patterns are going to help out a bunch, but we just went over a lot of market structure, so market structure is definitely going to be king. So this is pretty much it. Went over all the pairs. All of mine that went over, again, I did all the major pairs for those rewatching. We got GU, NU, UJ, USD CHF, and then USD CAD. And then I did GJ too, so minor pair. Those are what I'm looking at this week. Again, right now, GU and NU, we have positions, and then we're looking potentially enter these. I'll probably move UJ down on the watch list for that. And so this is the Sunday Market Blitz. This is going to be recorded, obviously, and it's going to be posted, and you guys can rewatch and everything. And appreciate all you guys for coming out.
Well, let me just answer this last question for this guy. So, what do you say about gold? How to read the average true range? So I don't use an indicator on gold other than price action. There are certain indicators you could find. You can find the average of if it's oversold or overbought. Then what did he say here? How to count pips for gold. So it's like, you can see it's lacking compared to other pairs. It's just lacking extra decimal points. So if you hit shift on a chart and then drag it on gold, let's say 5,000. It's 500 pips. Let's say 1550 to 1600 is 500 pips. But if you actually don't know how to count pips on a certain pair yet, don't jump into it. Definitely backtest or research it. It goes for all commodities. Because the pip count ranges on every pair slightly, but more so with other commodities. And if you're trading futures or anything, it definitely ranges. So do your research, make sure you know what you're doing, and happy trading.
So tomorrow night we're going to be doing the free live webinar, so you guys can come on to that. I'm going to post questions for that, all the ones that we're going to answer in that today, and that's going to also be recorded too. So this will be posted, and I hope you guys obviously have a good rest of your day. If you're watching the football games, enjoy the games, and let the games begin for this week.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Have a good weekend.